Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? It's Memorial Day weekend, and so I had to run the game for the kids at the library just a little while ago. A couple of them couldn't attend. This was not surprising, but the other ones wanted to go. It's raining outside. I think the parents are happy to not have the kids, for a couple hours and just, have a little alone time. Even though they have several other kids running around their houses, I believe. But just get rid of a couple of them, would you? So we did that, and in the past I've done some things where we ran some mock combats or made some scenarios, but we used 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. This particular time I said, I'll tell you what, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to play a different game in a different scenario. And at first they weren't quite sure. Some of them were like, maybe let's see what it is. But I said, how about you guys play yourselves in your own town? And I decided, hey, the premise is that your friends, the two kids that couldn't show up, their siblings, they're missing. And they started, we started to kind of generate what might be happening together. And, I mentioned the idea that, one of the kids was, really excited about something he had seen. And the kid is very animated in general. And so then they start feeding me all this information. Oh, yeah, he always has these crazy theories. And sometimes he thinks that dragons and things like that might be real. So I kind of expanded on that. And they've seen something. And so collaboratively, and I don't think, I don't know how much they caught on at first, we started putting together some kind of idea. Actually, they did. I think they caught on more than I'm giving them credit for. They started throwing out ideas. And so together we kind of figured out where they would have disappeared or where the most likely place they might be, but the adults won't listen to them, even though the kids said they saw something strange in that area. And so we got all of them, together in one person's house. And all the adults have left them, taken all the young kids with them, left the oldest one in charge. Let's see what happens. For a mechanic, I wasn't sure what to do. And I finally, one of my cats is upset. Hey, what's going on, honey? She probably wants to go outside, and it's raining, and she hates it every single time she goes out there. She wants to come back in, but Anyhow, this has nothing to do with the video. So I decided, what am I going to use for a mechanic? And we did just play Broken Compass, which I want to talk about. Me and the fellas actually played that, and it's up on Anthony's channel already. It was a hoot. This video is not about that. I almost used that mechanic, and just a truncated version, no actual abilities or fields or areas of expertise and all that kind of stuff. Just roll 5 dice or whatever and just be done with it. But I decided, no, I wasn't sure how many dice the kids were going to have. And I flipped a coin, and metaphorically, and decided to use the PBTA mechanic. Oh, she's really upset here. And so we used that mechanic, and I used a little dice cam, little dice roller. I had a little tray, that I put in here. And the dice cam was literally another iPad, patched into Zoom that they could kind of see. And, in hindsight, I wish I probably used the, there she is, use the mechanic from Broken Compass. I might use it next time because we did kind of leave it as a cliffhanger because we ran out of time. And we ran out of time at a great spot where they kind of reunite with the other kids. So, and we'll get to that in a moment. Using the PBTA type mechanic, same thing. I didn't use any sort of ability scores or that sort of thing. They just rolled straight 2d6. They kind of figured it out pretty fast. I ended up rolling for the kids because I wasn't sure how many times they're going to have dice, and I thought it might make it a little faster. I rolled terribly for them, rolling a lot of misses, but it was fun. And by letting them, it took them a while to figure stuff out. Like they kept on saying, well, can I have this? Can I have that? Can I have brought my BB gun with me? And all this other stuff. And it took them a while to really start to figure out, despite me telling them, okay, well, just say the things you would have brought, as long as it's not something crazy. And we'll go with that. And if there's something else that you didn't mention at the beginning, well, maybe we'll roll to see if you brought that or not. And so one of the kids, he had his phone, and he wasn't sure if he had charged it, and he did. It had 1 bar, all that kind of stuff of battery. That was kind of neat. And as the session went on, you could see them getting more and more animated as they realized that they weren't constrained by as many procedures, or they didn't have to. They weren't sure like. They got what they needed to roll pretty fast. They understood what the numbers meant really, really fast. They, stopped worrying so much about things, in a mechanical sense, and started thinking of the things they would really do. And, you could see that happening slowly over time. And, it was one of those times was really cool because what I haven't seen in a while is all of the kids engaged fully all the time. And they were all engaged fully all the time. And did I mess some things up? I think I messed some things up in terms of, running combat with PBTA dice. I think it would have been a lot more satisfying to do stuff with the broken compass mechanic. I really like that mechanic quite a bit. I think it would have helped a little bit because they did end up failing a little bit more. I think just statistically, I just rolled badly. But it was neat. It was neat to see them kind of come alive, not as constrained by the system that we've been playing. And there's nothing wrong with 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons as such. And there's nothing wrong. Well, there's some things wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with a complicated system as such. However, it seems like, and I had this inkling to begin with, it seemed like with a newer gamer, with a younger gamer, sometimes less is a bit more. And, getting them used to the idea of what they can do, like what the mechanics are actually for. It's a little easier with a lighter type of system. So it was just neat to see them kind of come alive. It was neat to see them start to engage with things, to give me ideas, of what might be going on, because I left it intentionally kind of open, let them kind of insert some ideas here and there. Asking me if particular people were there. Well, who are these people? Telling them what kind of vehicles your parents had. Of course, they took their parents' cars twice. And boy, did they mess one up, driving it through the woods. They got to knock their parents out, because we had a little thing going on with some creatures that were possessing the adults and all kinds of. It was very classic type stuff. I wanted to keep the tropes very recognizable and identifiable for them. They've seen enough stuff that they were able to pick up on stuff really, really fast, finding some clues that their friends had dropped. So it was really, really satisfying. It was a lot of fun. It was neat to walk away. I hadn't ended a session in a while and felt like, wow, that went really, really well. Sometimes it's always been like, they were kind of halfway engaged or something. They were really, really, really engaged. And the best part was that at the end, they said, hey, next time, can we maybe play this? I thought that was pretty cool. Because that's been one of my goals with them, is not to convert them to something else, but to kind of show them that, hey, there are other games out there. There are other things we can do besides playing this one really popular, very complicated game. Because the more I've experienced running that particular game for them, 5e D&D, in many ways I've seen that it's not a good beginner game. There's so many other games out there that you can learn and dive into and learn role-playing and have fun with, that don't require that much heavy lifting and that much page flipping and looking up. And so it was neat to see them just kind of start to breathe and start to role play, and that was really kind of neat. That's my report for today. I'm sure I repeated myself a bunch, but whatever. That's what you get.